Welcome to this week's Monday Night Mashup. I'm Ihetu.
And I'm Jenna Falconite. Thanks for joining us tonight.
A report filed with the South Carolina Department of Employment and Workforce confirmed that Richland Wells Fargo will lay off 525 employees by June 30th, 2024. The company provided a letter to the SC Workforce Agency that said, and I quote, "We need to concentrate Wells Fargo's real estate investments in fewer locations or reduce space in existing real estate," end quote. Recently, job cuts at Wells Fargo have been at an all-time high. Chief Financial Officer Michael Santomismo has confirmed about 40,000 jobs have been lost, and the number of employees have gone down every quarter since 2022. If the affected Richland employees cannot transfer to other office locations, they will be laid off permanently.
The South Caroliniana Library will reopen this week after 6 years. The library, located on the USC Horseshoe, houses special collections, repositories, and research archives. It has been closed for renovation since 2017, but will officially reopen this Friday, October 6th. The South Caroliniana Library is one of the oldest university libraries in the country. At the library, students and researchers can obtain free access to works by South Carolina's most well-known writers and historic newspapers dating as far back as 1815. They can also access past issues of USC's Society's newsletter, historic exhibits, and study spaces that are open to the public. Researchers can book appointments to view the library's extensive archives and collections. The library will be open Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. The reopening will allow students to further explore the unique history of USC and the state of South Carolina. Michelle, I'm so excited that the library is reopening. I'll definitely be paying a visit there. How about you?
Yeah, as a sophomore, this is my first time ever entering the library. I'm very excited to see it for the very first time.
Me too. Up next, SGTV weather reporter Brianna Rao is in the studio to give us the weekly weather update.
Thank you, Jenna. Good evening, Columbia. Today, we have the perfect weather. As you've seen, low, high 70s and 80s throughout the last few days, and that's going to continue on even today. So what we're going to see is it's 78 right now, low humidity. That means if you're sitting in your house watching this, get ready, go outside, go for a walk outside, sit on your balcony, or if you want to head to campus, you can go to the Melton Observatory at 9 p.m. They're going to be allowing you to see the Saturn rings, from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m. There was a wait last week when I went, and that's because there's clear skies right now, so you'll be getting a great view, and everybody in Columbia wants to go too. So make sure you make the most of it. Now, talking about later tomorrow, we're going to see that the sun is going to peek out. We're going to have the high 70s, light winds, and the UV index is going to be 7. Now, if you want to go tan, this would be the ideal day to do it because anything higher than 7 would be harmful for your body. Now, there's going to be a higher humidity, so again, not the day to break out the jeans, not the day to straighten your hair. Grab a claw clip, grab a hair tie because you're probably going to be needing it. And now let's look a little bit farther ahead. So Wednesday, we already know is going to be a nice sunny day, but does that mean you're going to need any cool relating clothes? Are you going to be wearing shorts? Most likely, yes, because we're going to be in the high 70s and low 80s throughout the day, and that's going to continue towards the evening too. So if you're going to Wednesday Night Jake's, you don't need a sweater. You can relax, sit down with your friends, enjoy the atmosphere without having to worry about sweating because humidity, again, is going to be at a low. That's going to start to change throughout the later of this week. So what we're going to notice is on Thursday and Friday, we're going to see some clouds, and that's going to allow for the moisture to start soaking up in the air, so the humidity is going to also start to rise. You really want to make sure that you're bringing your water bottle with you on these days because temperatures are going to start to climb throughout the week, and then they're going to come back and drop down for us. So Saturday and Sunday, we're going to see the most of our fall weather. So if you love fall, if you're excited to go pumpkin picking, then you can go on these days. So what we're going to see is the temperature is going to be at a low at 51 and 48 degrees. So these will be the perfect times for you to get outside with your fall jacket on, your jeans, and take in all that fall activities. Now coming up after this break, we have Lauren and Ciuci. Susie, with all the updates for all things Gamecock Athletics.
Hey, Jenna, good evening, Columbia. Today, we're Tensions were rising for sports here in South Carolina over the weekend. Gamecock football traveled down to Knoxville for one of the most anticipated games of the season. Last year, Gamecock football knocked off number 5 Tennessee in an unforgettable game, leaving expectations very high for this year. During the first half, Mitch Jeter put up South Carolina's first points with a 36-yard field goal, and Spencer Rattler later scored a touchdown of his very own. The Volunteers scored 3 touchdowns and a field goal, which included a 28-yard pick six right before the half, making the score 10-24 at halftime. Tennessee was able to maintain their lead for the rest of the game, racking up a total of 41 points. As for South Carolina, they struggled to get anything going offensively the rest of the game, leaving the final score 20-41 Tennessee. Though there was no storming the field this year, Gamecock football still has an incredible schedule ahead with many more opportunities to do so. On the bright side of things, Gamecock women's soccer was able to pull off an impressive win against Auburn last Friday. The nail-biting game went without scoring up until the last 10 minutes. Auburn was first to find the back of the net, making the score 0-1. The last-ditch efforts of Reagan, Schubach, and Catherine Berry allowed Gamecocks to capture 2 more goals before they ran out of time, making the final 2-1 Gamecocks. Keep your eye out for their next SEC opponent on Thursday when they play LSU at home. And now, Olivia Sperbeck is in the studio to fill us in on what's happening in the local art scene.
The Amernet String Quartet presents a concert at the Columbia Museum of Art on Tuesday from 5:30 p.m. to 8:15 p.m. This show is inspired by the CMA collection at the museum and features original programs about World Wars I and II, as well as selections from composers such as Samuel Barber and Charles Ives. The quartet is based in Miami, but they are visiting South Carolina as part of a residency with the USC School of Music. Concertgoers can arrive early to see the art featured in the show. Tickets are free for students, $20 for non-members of the museum, and $16 for members. Also in local arts, a production of Sideways Stories from Wayside School will be at Drayton Hall from October 6th to the 14th. The production is held by USC's Department of Theater and Dance. The show is based on the best-selling children's book written by Louis Sacker and centers around a mean teacher who is known for turning students into apples when they misbehave. Tickets can be found on the USC Department of Theater and Dance website. They are $15 for students and $10 with the code WaysideSave. This show is for young audiences, but any age is welcome to attend. After the commercial, Michelle and Jenna will return to finish up tonight's news wrap. Stay close.
On Sunday, residents of the 4300 block on Mountain Drive reported to Columbia Police of an armed man making threats in the neighborhood. Law enforcement arrived at 10:30 a.m. to find the man barricaded himself inside of a resident's home. They spent 4 hours defusing the situation, eventually leading to a peaceful surrender. Police has since identified the man as a 35-year-old Robert Louis Beasley. Beasley is now in custody, facing charges of domestic violence of high and aggravated nature, kidnapping, and possession of a weapon during a violent crime. On Saturday, thousands of Columbia residents attended the first ever Convoy of Hope event to take place in the Midlands.
Convoy of Hope is a national organization that hosts outreach events and giveaways for communities in need. The organization partnered with Love Cola, a group of local churches in the Columbia area, to host an event in support of the Columbia community. Organizers handed out over 3,000 bags of groceries and over 1,000 pair of children's shoes. Planning for this event began in March when Convoy of Hope visited South Carolina to conduct a demographic study. This allowed the organization to develop a better understanding of the needs of the community. Aside from food and clothing, the event also provided other resources for local residents, such as suicide prevention, veteran services, health services, and more. The event also featured a kids zone area with fun activities for children to enjoy. Organizers also offered free haircuts and free family portraits for attendees. Michelle, it was so nice to see the Columbia community come together for an event like this, especially as we near the holiday season.
Yes, it's always so nice to have a family fun time event.
I agree. That wraps tonight's edition of Monday Night Mashup.
Be sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook at SGTV at USC.
To keep up with all of our content, be sure to also visit us online at sgtv@usc.com. For SGTV, I'm Jenna Falconite.
And I'm Ihetu. Have a great Carolina. Forever to thee.